I really look forward to our discussion over the next 25 minutes. And for two reasons. We have heard yesterday a lot about what actually Europe should do and what we might have to do to compete with the US, etc. But here, we have, three very concrete examples of how we get AI on the road and how they have been building, their businesses actually for quite a bit now. And the second reason I'm really sort of happy to have you here is because it shows that Europe is way more than just Paris, London, Berlin. We have Alvaro here from Valencia, Giovanni from Milan, and Patrick. Maybe you go first and introduce yourself and your company, and then we obviously have Alvaro and Giovanni do the same, and then we keep going.
Sure. Okay. So thanks really for that I can be here. My name is Patrick. I'm one of the founders and CEO of Vialytics, and with Vialytics we're building a road management system, which means we're helping cities to keep our roads in safe condition by enabling them with smartphones and AI. So the first step, they get really a smartphone from us, which is then installed in the windshield of their municipal vehicles. Those are vehicles which drive through the roads already, and with our smartphone they then collect images of the road. So they really collect images of the whole road network, and then we have developed an AI that detects damages on those images really fully automatically. Damages like cracks or potholes, also patches. So when I, in the meantime, really see the road with different eyes. And what we deliver to the cities then is a web-based road map, so really a street map, where they can plan their maintenance measures really fully automatically in our system. They also can manage their work orders in our system, so really manage the building yard automatically in our system, and with that really save a lot of money.
Thank you. Alvaro, you go next.
Okay. So my name is Alvaro. I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Imperia. We are from Valencia. We're a team of 100 people, and what we do is we do supply chain planning for companies. So we align companies into using the same forecast, production plan, procurement plan, and how we do it is that we calculate these forecasts with the state-of-art calculation methods, with machine learning and everything. With that forecast, knowing how much you're going to sell in the coming weeks, months, or even years, we calculate then that production plan on top of it, and knowing how much you're going to produce, then we calculate the procurement plan. So we align companies into using this same plan just to align operations and align the supply chain into their ecosystem.
Thank you. Giovanni, you go next.
Okay, so I'm Giovanni Pizza, CEO of Bonus X. So we're an Italian-based startup. Basically, Italy, as you know, on top of being famous for pizza, good food, is also sadly famous for bureaucracy. And actually, we help people handle bureaucracy with public administration governments, and we enable people to access money. So welfare benefits, tax benefits, scholarships, basically money for children, entrepreneurship. Basically, all these opportunities exist. There is more than 4 trillion euros spent at European level in countries for welfare benefits, but 20 to 60% of people that are entitled to a benefit don't access it because they're not even aware of it, or because their bureaucracy is too complex. And what we do basically is to democratize access to these opportunities.
And I think that's a good point, right? So this is when you think about what you are basically providing to a citizen in Italy. It's so hard to actually understand, what benefits are available to a citizen in Italy, right? So what AI does, and we have seen this in so many other cases, is democratizing access, making sure that people have a comprehensive picture. And I think that gets me to the next, maybe to my next question for all of you. How, now that you have this, your products in place, you have first customers. How do you make sure you capture your full potential and you can scale? And we sit here in 2 years and you have doubled, tripled, your companies. Maybe Giovanni, you go first.
Okay. So I think that AI is doing something amazing. No, we are called the information society because the internet made the information much more accessible in the past. But I think that now we can say that we're evolving in a knowledge society. because actually what AI is doing at its core is democratize access to knowledge, which is different, to have more access to information. Because knowledge-based, you are able to take better decision, better the information you get. And when you use AI, for example, for welfare benefits, it means that we aggregate all the knowledge we have on the web, but also from our partners, and make specialized consultant experience available to everyone at a fraction of the cost. Mm-hmm. And how do we scale this? So basically, on one side, for example, in our case, you need a lot of user data because you are providing a super personalized assistance. So it's not just a generic answer provided by ChatGPT. Based on your income, based on your real estate, we give you these insights. We comply with a lot of regulation because we integrate services that are regulated by government or so on the financial side. So that it's another, I would say, barrier to scale this. And in a nutshell, I think that what we do is to super specialize this knowledge in a vertical so that we can provide really unique value to people and basically unlock the full potential that there is in the application layer. No, it's not just a new model, it's actually a super specialized consultant where we give a superior service to our customers.
And that is basically also, I think, creating then the stickiness, right?
Exactly.
And creates the retention, because I think that is very important. When you think about it, Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram, it took them years to get to 100 million users. OpenAI with ChatGPT was there in 2 months, right? So it's obviously quite easy to scale businesses up, but then making sure they last, that they create a differentiation that really matters, I think is obviously has always been important, but it's in particular important, these days. Alvaro, what's your sort of secret sauce, if you can share it with us?
Yes, so just to tell a little bit of the story of how we are being implementing AI in the tool. We started with a typical use case of actually trying to help users. Since we are a supply chain planning tool, it's a bit complex, so we are helping users to actually use better the software with an embedded chat in which you can actually ask things. Now we are developing the next step in which we are doing, okay, it's not about only telling you how to do things, but giving you recommendations or giving you, okay, if I want to do this specific task, these are the things that you need to do. And then the third step that we are going to take is actually an agentic method in which, okay, not only tell you what you do, but if you give me the okay instruction, then I'm going to execute these tasks. That's like the traditional approach. But for us, and this is something that we realized some weeks ago, this is not like killing features or killing functionalities that are actually going to make a breakthrough in our space. We are enterprise companies. Our customers want control over their data, want control over their actions, and want control over the software. So these killer features are helping them to use better the software, but it's not the killing features that are going to make us sustainable 2, 4, 10 years in the future.
And that's maybe a good point, Alvaro. When you basically pitch your solution, your product, what are you competing against?
Okay, so there are 2 different spaces. There are enterprise companies like SAP that was here yesterday, another Kinaxis, another big enterprise companies. They are like fighting in another space because they are the traditional enterprise software in which they need consultants to actually apply those softwares into companies and into organizations. We are more in the mid-market space, and usually in the range from 10 to 100 million revenue, we are fighting against Excel files. The thing about fighting against Excel files is that they are customers. So the people are actually doing them themselves. They are tailoring to their process and to the way of doing things. And that's really powerful. But the thing is, when you scale, Excel breaks, and we all know what happens when you scale Excel files. And this is our space in that between in which they change from that Excel file to actually a proper enterprise solution. But and here is where the AI differentiation is what we wanted to come to our company, is that we want to still have that extreme personalization. And the way of doing that traditionally, and that's our business model, is actually through a plugin model in which, okay, the users can actually choose the product that they want. But now we want to change a little bit the approach, and we're actually doing it already, in which we want to create that extreme personalization through AI. And the way of doing that is embedding the AI into the development of the product from the core, not only on the surface, not only using ChatGPT to program or Cursor or whatever, is to actually embedding AI in the core of the product development. So each customer now it has their own solution, their own approach to the supply chain planning process, and their own tools to actually adapt completely the solution to their standard process. And that's only possible with AI, because before, to actually develop any kind of functionality, it took you 1 week, maybe in the best case, maybe 2. Now, in a couple prompts, you can actually change completely how something works. And that's really powerful to tailor this kind of solutions. And what we're going to bring to the table is not that set of tools, but also the knowledge, because users usually don't know what they want. So like guiding the users into telling them what tools they have available and how they can tailor the software with AI just to meet their requirements.
How are you using AI, Patrick, to develop your software solutions?
Yeah, I would continue on what Alvaro just said and also what you just said. I think in the meantime, it's possible to develop software companies, SaaS companies super fast with AI, which can be a threat to existing SaaS companies, but also can be a huge chance to existing SaaS companies. And in our case, so we are a vertical SaaS company, which means we are really vertically integrating in our customers' processes, and are very strong in our customer processes. And therefore, I believe that AI is a huge chance for us. And I think having in mind, so for the long run, if you on the long run want to really build a sustainable company, I think this is where we have to continue to be very strong in, to really understand this customer processes very deeply, because I believe that this is something that an AI can't disrupt very fast. This deep knowledge of the customer, this is something an AI can't generate. So we have to understand the problems of our customers, and I believe that we are good in that today, and this is what we really want to continue in future. And then leverage AI, use AI in order to build great processes to solve those problems. And here I think AI can be a huge help to solve those problems and integrate it into our processes in order to make our system even more user-friendly and the processes even more better for our customers.
Yeah. And what's your experience in selling your software solution to municipalities, cities, federal states? How does that go? I mean, we had a lot of politicians yesterday here that claimed that they want to be fast. So how does that in practice work? What's your experience?
I mean, yeah, there are prejudices, of course, which are sometimes they are right, sometimes, not always. Most of the time it depends on the people that are buying our system. So what we are doing is we are selling to smaller, medium-sized cities. So all in all, we have 700 customers in the meantime, really in Germany, France, and the US. The absolute majority of them are smaller, medium-sized cities and counties, because we have recognized that selling to them is rather selling to SME business, small and medium-sized enterprises. And therefore, they are faster in their decision-making, they really act faster in their decision-making. And what we recognized is as soon as we are getting higher in these political levels, like selling to bigger cities even, or selling to the state or counties, then we recognize that decision-making is getting more and more political, and therefore the sales process take longer, and nobody really wants to make a decision. That's why we're really purposely selling to small and medium-sized cities and trying to hack this process and become really good.
And have you, because government organizations sometimes have the ambition to actually develop stuff themselves, or think that they need to develop it, themselves to make it more, secure, or what's your experience in that area?
Yeah, absolutely, exactly how you described it. So this is something we recognize also in those higher political levels, the state, also the countries, Bundesländer. They are very often trying to develop their software themselves. Cities and smaller cities, they don't do that because they lack of the money. So in the other way around, I would say maybe the state or countries have too much money in order to do such things. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is something that I see very often, that the state or countries, that they think that they need something very special, that they want to be very risk averse, so they think of every risk that potentially could happen, which we often see is that this leads to.
And I think that's actually maybe a good call to action, right? We heard this yesterday as well with in case of quantum, that in the end of the day, the government organizations not just shouldn't just say, look, we need this or we should do this, and there are maybe grants here and there, but I think they should also become customers, right, of those solutions and maybe early on, so that you can actually get off the ground faster.
I honestly believe that they will save a lot of money. The state saves a lot of money by doing that.
Yeah. What's your experience, Giovanni? Obviously, you are providing access to government solutions.
Yeah. So we integrate in the platform welfare and tax benefits, mostly at the national level, but also some at the regional level, and at information level also at the municipality level. So actually, we founded Bonus X because we were waiting for a change that never happened, from politics. So we wanted something that really pushed the country to improve. For example, in Italy, the cost of bad regulation is estimated to be more than 2 points of gross domestic product each year. And so basically we are solving, how can I say, as private, as citizen, something that we were waiting for decades to be solved at government level. And in Italy, usually, unfortunately, so far in public administration, there is a not strong incentive for managers to allocate budget on startups, because they are very risk adverse, and basically all money go to huge corporates on consultancy group, and this creates an attrition to collaborate with public administration. At the same time, I think, like Patrick's experience, the more you go higher in the level, the slower they move. So actually, we hacked our way around, and rather than partnering straight with government, we close and scale partnership with corporates that were already integrated with the government, with different government agencies. And this way we were able to pull into the system, benefits that can be requested by millions of people, so without, having to close the actual deal with the Italian welfare agency, the Italian tax agency, and other public administration. But my hope for the future is actually that there will be a cultural shift, like it's already happening in the US, also in Europe. There will be more budget, not just invested in startups, but actually spent, that generates revenue from startups and fuel, the growth on the European ecosystem in a unique partnership, from government and innovation sector.
And do you have plans to take your solution to other European countries, or is it rather Italy specific?
So actually, the issue we are solving is known as non-take-up, and there are several reports at the European and United Nations level about how it's widespread in different countries. For example, in Germany, there is something similar with unemployment allowance, that it's really hard to get, a lot of bureaucracy. And so our mission is actually to scale it globally. So what we want to do is to create one platform that, depending on the country you are, for example, if you're doing Erasmus in another country, you automatically see all the benefits you can access as a European citizen doing Erasmus in that country. So benefit for transport, benefit for paying the rent, scholarship from that university. And our mission is to create one platform that covers, all opportunities that come from government, but also private entity. And based on your profile, suggest you what can really change your life and give you the means, to realize your own path, your own dreams.
And Alvaro, for you, I think the other European markets are quite important. And what I understand, Italy is obviously one of the markets that are going super well for you as well. Right.
Yeah, it's a top performer for our solution, because I think culturally Spain and Italy have been very close, and the way of selling in Spain has been very close to how to sell in Italy, and it's been going really well. On the other side, we have France and the UK that are moving slower, but it's a matter of actually getting adoption and getting customers, the first customers. I think that's the breaking point. Until you actually deliver value in that country, it can take some time, and you need to have patience. But the idea is that we are going to expand through all Europe, and we chosen those 3 first countries just because of competitiveness, the size of the countries, the number of SMBs, and everything. it's all the factors that we took into account to actually go to those countries.
And I think that's a good point, right? We have so many SMBs
Yes.
in so many European countries. It's a massive market that is so far underserved, and I think for startups like you guys, a big opportunity. Be it also for you, right? You're also serving more the smaller, mid-sized cities. Is your solution? You mentioned France, you mentioned the US. Any other European expansion plans?
Yeah, definitely. Next year we want to extend to Austria and Swiss. We didn't do that yet because we wanted to keep focus. So those are the next 2 countries. But besides that, honestly, I want to go to Canada in the next step because, honestly, I think it's a huge market. It's very close to the US. We have hacked the US already, so we want to expand within the US, but then want to attach Canada also.
Good. We have 4 minutes left. Maybe one last question for each of you. What's your main challenge to scale and maybe to triple, quadruple your business? And when we are here back in 2 years, what's sort of the biggest challenge until then? Giovanni, you go
I can
first.
start. Okay. So to us, it's a lot about making the products more and more simple. Now, for example, today BonusX has more than 700,000 users. We help people access more than 140 million euros in welfare and tax benefits. But a huge challenge in adoption, especially from people that come from low-income families, is actually the complexity of the system. Retrieving the data they need to manage these application processes, understanding what is required, understanding what are the actions that are needed. And I think that in this AI is really a big game changer because, for example, rather than exposing the person to the end module, we're using more and more AI, to get information through a conversational experience. And then now, for example, just in June, we launched a prototype where we were able to extract more than 30 fields of data automatically from one income statement document.
Product. I think that's the biggest challenge to actually grow 3x in the next year. But besides that, I think it's what I told earlier about the implementation of AI at the core of the company. I think that's going to be one of the biggest challenges in the next year. But I think it's what is going to make you sustainable in the future, having to be able to adopt that disruption at the core of the company. The good thing is that we are not so big to be able to make it, but we are big enough to make a really big impact. So I think we are in the perfect spot to actually make those kind of changes. And I think that's what is going to make us differentiate in the upcoming 2 years.
Yeah, same as you guys said. Really bringing the product on the next level. I believe we have to because competition is real and we see that other companies are starting to copy us. So it's really important to bring product on the next level and therefore also leverage and use AI in order to do that, really building a great product. I think we are a SaaS company, software company, so this is what differentiates us.
Good. Thank you so much. Good luck. And and maybe we come back in 2 years and see how far you have gone. Right?
Absolutely.